Good morning, students. In the previous class, we discussed about the function, and then we discussed four types of functions. We discussed identity function, constant function, and polynomial function. And under polynomial function, we discussed square function. Now, the next function that we will discuss, it also comes under polynomial function only, and this function is cube function. Now, as the name is telling cube, that means what we will do, this function will give you the cube of the input. So, how will we define a function? F defined from R to R by f of x is equal to x cube for all x belonging to set of real numbers, right? So for every real number, whenever function is taking x, what is function giving us? It is giving us the cube of that number. And if I want to plot the graph of this function, let us take different values of x. Okay, so when I take here 0, the image will be 0. When I take 1, the image will be 1. When I take 2, image will be 8. When I take -1, image will be -1, because cube of -1 is -1. If I take -2, the image will be -8, right? If I take here -3, the image will be -27, and if I take here +3, the image will be +27. Because in the cube function, what is happening here, if the input is positive, output is also positive, and if input is negative, output is also negative. So like this, we can have different elements or different inputs corresponding to which we will get different outputs. Now let us see what will be the shape of the graph of cube function when we plot it. So for that, let us take our Cartesian system, right? So here we are taking the y-axis, y negative, x-axis, x negative. Okay, so let it be 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Here will be -1, -2, -3, -4. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. And if I take similarly here -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and if I extend it somewhere here, I will get -9 also. Okay, so let us take, this will be our origin 0, 0. Now when x is 0, image is also 0, so it will go like this. When x is 1, image is 1. When x is 2, image is 8. So if this is 6, 7, 8, so 8 somewhere here I will get, right? And when x is -1, what will be the image? Image will be -1. When x is -2, image will be -8 and so on. Like that, if I extend our y-axis, I can get the images of -3 also and the images of -4 also. But I think these points will be sufficient to get the idea of the shape of the graph. So let us join these points. Remember, when we are joining the points here in the functions graph, we will be joining the points freehand. Don't use the scale here, right? Because it is the curve, it is not a straight line. So when I am joining these points, we are getting this kind of graph. Okay, so that means the graph of this cube function will be of this shape. It will pass through 0, 0, and when x is positive, image is also positive. When x is negative, image is also negative. So in which quadrants the graph of the function is lying? It is lying in the first quadrant and third quadrant, because we know the sign in the first quadrant is positive, positive, and the sign in the third quadrant is negative, negative. Pre-image and image both are positive. Here pre-image and image both are negative. So from this, what we are getting here, definitely the Domain of the function is all real numbers, no doubt. What is the range? Range is having positive real numbers also, range is having negative real numbers also, and range is having the image as 0 also. So the range again here will be all real numbers. So in the cube function, the domain and range both are real numbers only. Okay, so this is the function cube function. So that's it about this function, and we have these two functions under the polynomial function. But yes, if you want to plot, we can take the linear polynomial, it will be a straight line. We can have the quadratic, and by putting different values of x, you will get the graph corresponding to that function, and so on. Okay, but in the syllabus we have these two functions, square function and cube function. Okay, the next function that we will discuss here is a rational function. So what is a rational function? In junior classes we learned about rational numbers, right? So when I say rational number, how do we define rational number? We define rational number any number of the form p by q, where q is not equal to 0. This number will be called rational number, right? I think from class 5 we start using the rational numbers. Okay, so p by q will be a rational number when the denominator is non-zero, because if the denominator is 0, the number is not defined. So the denominator should not be 0. Similarly, rational function. What will be the rational function? If I have two polynomial functions, here p and q are actually, what are these numbers? These are two real numbers, and q is a non-zero real number. Similarly, when I say rational function, if I say let px comma qx be two polynomial functions, right, such that this polynomial function qx is not equal to 0 for any x belonging, for any x, right, not equal to 0 for any x, then px by qx is a rational function where definitely qx is not equal to 0. So this will be the definition of rational function. Just like rational number, these are the real numbers, these two are the real valued functions, and other means these are two real valued polynomial functions. So if I have two polynomial functions, the function which I am keeping in the denominator should be non-zero. That means for any value of x, qx should not become 0. Then the function will be called rational function, right? So it means whenever I have some function given and the function is in the rational function form, and I have to find the domain. Now what will be the criteria to find the domain of the rational function? The denominator should not become 0 for any value of x. So for I will check what will be the possible values of x which are making the denominator 0. So the values of x which are making the denominator 0 will not come in the domain. All other values we will take in the domain. Let us do one sum based upon this rational function where we have to find the domain of the function so that we can understand the concept of domain in the rational function. Okay, so let us consider one example here. One sum is given here in your book. Let me see. One example is also given to you people where the rational function is given and we have to find the domain of the function. And we have one sum also in our, I think, miscellaneous exercise. Yes, sum number 3 of miscellaneous exercise. It is given, find the domain of the function. What is the function given? Let us take the sum, third sum of miscellaneous exercise, right? We have to find the domain of the function. The function is given here, x square plus 2x plus 1 divided by x square minus 8x plus 12. We have to find the domain of this function. Now, as we discussed previously, what is the rational function? So the function of the form px by qx, and this qx should not be equal to 0, then this function is a rational function, right? Now that means the function is defined. This function is defined when the denominator is not equal to 0. Px upon qx is defined, that means it will exist when qx is not equal to 0. So what we will say? We will say fx is defined when denominator x square minus 8x plus 12 should not be 0. So when this denominator is not equal to 0, then the function is defined. When I am saying the function is defined, it means the domain of the function will be there, or domain of the function will exist if this thing is non-zero. Now it is a quadratic, and if you look at the quadratic, we can easily find the value of x by splitting the middle term. Middle term is minus 8, product should be 12. So what we are getting here, x square minus 2x minus 6x plus 12 equal to 0. So we are getting this thing. That means the value of x is coming 2, 6. Definitely they should not be equal to 0. It means if whenever x is 2 or 6, what will happen? This denominator will become equal to 0, but we should not have the denominator equal to 0. That means x should not be equal to 2, 6. So if x is not 2 or 6, but it is any other real number, then the function will have some definite value. That means then the function exists. So what we will say? Therefore domain of function f will be all real numbers except these two numbers 2 and 6. So this is how we will find the domain of the function. Likewise, you have one example also in the chapter. I think in the exercise of 2.3, one example is given where we are finding the domain of the function. Similarly, you people can do that. Okay, so now let us go back to the types of the functions that we are discussing. Under rational function, we will be discussing one function, that is reciprocal function. Okay, reciprocal function. Now what is the reciprocal function? Reciprocal function means whatever I am giving to the function, it is giving me the reciprocal of that. So here we will say a function f defined as f from all real numbers to real numbers. Why I am leaving some space here due to some reason. By how it will come? F of x is equal to 1 by x. Reciprocal function means when I am giving x to the function, the image is 1 by x. Now this image will be 1 by x. That means x cannot have value 0. I cannot put here 0 because f of 0 will be 1 upon 0, which is not defined. So it means the function will not be defined. So the point at which the function is not defined, that point should not come in the domain. So what we will do, in the domain we are removing 0 from the set of real numbers. If I am not giving 0, so for any value, even for any value of x, the answer will never be 0 because the numerator is fixed, it is 1. So in the codomain also we will exclude 0 from the set of real numbers, right? So reciprocal function will be defined from all non-zero real numbers to the non-zero real numbers. So domain and codomain of reciprocal function is non-zero real numbers. F of x is defined by this, where x is not equal to 0, right? Now if I need to plot the graph, I need some values here. Let us make the table. So when x is 1, the image will be 1. Okay, when x is 2, image will be 1 by 2, and if I give 1 by 2, the image will be 2, right? If I give 1 by 4, that means 0.25, the image will be 4. If I give here minus 1, the image will be minus 1. If I give minus 2, the image will be minus 1 by 2. If I give here minus 1 by 2, image will be 2. If I give minus 1 by 4, image will be minus 4, and so on. Let us take these points to get the graph of the function, and we will see what is the shape of this function, reciprocal function. Okay, so let us plot the graph for this function, and let us take here okay. So let us mark here points 1, 2, 3, 4, similarly -1, -2, -3, and here it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, similarly -1, -2, -3, -4. So this will be negative y-axis, positive y-axis, negative x-axis, positive x-axis. Let us plot the graph. Definitely it will not take 0, it will never give you 0. So let us see what is happening. If you notice here, when I am giving the positive number to the function, the image is positive. So when I am giving negative number to the function, image is negative. That means once again our graph will lie in the first quadrant and third quadrant. But what will be the difference? The graph line will not pass through origin. Okay, so let us plot the points and then join the points to get the graph. So when x is 1, image is 1. When x is 2, image is 1 by 2. So it will come here. When x is 1 by 2, that means here the image is 2, so it will go here. When x is 1 by 4, that means again half of this, right? So this will be the point. So the image is 4, it will go here. And when x is 4, what is the image? 1 by 4, so it will be here. So what is happening here? It is going, if I start joining the points from here, we are getting the curve like this. It will go very close to y-axis, and this side it will go very close to x-axis, but it will not merge with x-axis and y-axis. Okay, it can go very close to both the axes, but it will not merge. The graph line will not merge with x-axis or y-axis. Why? Because we don't know the value of infinity, so we can't say where the line will meet x-axis or y-axis. Okay, so positive values, corresponding to positive values, the graph is lying in the first quadrant. Now let us take the negative values. When x is -1, image is -1. When x is -2, the image is -1 by 2, so it will go here. When x is -1 by 2, right? So when x is -1 by 2, here the image is -2, that means it will go here. When x is -1 by 4, again half, the image is -4 like this, and so on. So if I take here the point -4, so when x is -4, the image is this, -1 by 4. So 1 point we will get here. So when we join the points, we will get this kind of graph again. So the whole curve is lying in the third quadrant, and again it will not touch negative x-axis or positive x-axis anywhere. It can go very close to the axis. Okay, so this will be the shape of the graph of which function? Reciprocal function. And you can write down the name over each and every graph, that this is the graph of which function? Reciprocal function. So the domain is all real numbers except 0, and the range is also all non-zero real numbers. Codomain is also all non-zero real numbers, right? So this is all about the reciprocal function. So now we will do the next function. We will discuss the next function. So the next function that we will discuss after the reciprocal function, it is the modulus function. Okay, this is very important function. We will be using this function here. We have the usage of this function in differentiation, in integration, in like in many other concepts the function is used. So we should be quite thorough with the function, the role of the function, how the function is used. So let us understand the modulus function. What is the modulus function? A function f defined from R to R by, how the function is defined, f of x we write down modulus of x. Now modulus function is actually we write down x within these two vertical bars, right? It is not any bracket, these are two vertical bars, and these vertical bars whenever we use to write down some number inside, it always gives us the positive answer. So how will we read it? We will read it as modulus of x. So f of x is modulus of x, that means the function. So these two vertical bars are actually playing the role of the function. And how does it work? It will give you x whenever x is greater than or equal to 0. So if this x is positive, which we are writing inside these two vertical bars, if it is positive, the answer it will give you x as such. But if this x is negative, then it will give you minus of x. Okay, so if this is also negative, and when I take negative of negative number, ultimately what I will get the positive answer. Let us see how the function works. If I am writing here modulus of 2, right, modulus of 2. Now what is this 2? This 2 which is written inside the vertical bars, it is positive, so it is giving me plus. And when I write down modulus of minus 2, it will also give you plus 2 only. Why? Because when I am writing minus 2 within these two vertical bars, the result how it is giving me, it is giving me minus of this negative number. And when I take minus of this negative number, ultimately what I will get the positive answer. When we are solving the sums, when we are using the function, that time we don't mention that it is giving you minus of minus this number to make it positive. We will straightforward write down that modulus of 2 is 2, modulus of minus 2 is also 2. So in other words, in simple words, if I say modulus always give me the magnitude of that number, whatever you are writing here, right? So this function has the role in physics also. Okay, so whenever we talk about the distance, we know the distance can't be negative, length of anything can't be negative, area of any triangle or polygon can't be negative. So that there we will by chance in our calculations, like in class 12 when we are doing our applications of integral, or even in differentiation we have area of triangle concept, and there by chance in the calculation if we are getting the negative sign, right, for area, we consider modulus of that, we consider magnitude of that, because area, distance, these things can't be negative. So there comes the role of this modulus function. So modulus function always gives us positive answer. In simple words, it can take negative, it can take fraction. So if I have modulus of 1 by 2, the answer will be 1 by 2, right? And if I have modulus of minus 1 by 3, the answer will be plus 1 by 3. So it accepts every real number. It can be negative, positive, but the answer is always positive. It means if I write down the domain of the function, it is all real numbers, but when I write down range of the function, it is only positive real numbers. That means it will be 0 to infinity. And when I give 0 to this, right, when I give 0 to this function, remember we are writing here x greater than or equal to 0. It means when I give 0 to the function, let us write down here, if I write down modulus of 0, it will be 0 only. Modulus of 0 will be 0 only. So the range will include 0 also. So 0 will be included. So we will put square bracket here to infinity, where infinity will be in the open bracket, right? So this is the modulus function. Now let us plot the graph of the modulus function and see what will be the shape of this modulus function, right? So let us do the first of all we will write down the table for this function so that we can plot the graph, right? Let us do that. So here let us make the table first of all when this is x and f of x. Okay, so when x is 1 the image is 1, when x is minus 2 the image is 2, when x is plus 2 the image is 2, when x is minus 1 then also image is 1, when x is 0 image is 0, when x is 3 image is 3, when x is minus 3 then also image is 3. So every time the image will be positive number. The pre-image can be negative also, can be 0 also, can be fraction also, anything. So let us plot the graph for this function. So here it is our origin 0 comma 0. This is 1 2 3 4 and 5. Similarly minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4. So here we will have 1 2 3 4. This is y-axis, x-axis, x negative, y negative. So this is minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4 and so on. Now when x is 0 the image is 0 here, when x is 1 the image is 1, when x is minus 1 then also image is 1, when x is 2 image is 2, when x is minus 2 then also the image is plus 2, when x is 3 the image is 3, when x is minus 3 then also the image is 3, when x is 4 then the image is 4, when x is minus 4 then also the image is 4, like this. So when we join these points what we are getting, straight line passing through origin in the first quadrant, straight line passing through the origin in the second quadrant. So pre-images are positive as well as negative, but the images are along positive y-axis only. So the domain is all real numbers, but the range is positive real numbers including 0, right? So this will be the graph of function modulus function. I hope the function is clear, and how we are plotting the graph for the function, that is also clear, because this thing we have done in the junior classes also by putting different values of x corresponding to which we got different values of y. The only difference is here instead of y what we are writing f of x. Even here also you can write down y. For that we will write down let y is equal to f of x is equals to modulus of x. This way you people can do if you want, because we are taking the values of fx along y-axis. So here you can mention that y-axis is taking values of f of x. So this thing you can mention in for each and every function that we have done earlier also, right? So the next function that we will discuss after this modulus function, the next function is signum function. Okay, it is the signum function. Now what is the signum function? Again a function f defined from R to R by, how the function is defined, f of x is given by mod x upon x. How the function is defined, signum function, it is mod x upon x. So modulus x we can read it as mod x also. So in the numerator we have modulus of x, in the denominator x is as such. So if I am giving here 1, it will be mod 1 upon 1, like that. And how it is giving us the answer. Now if you notice, if I have for all x greater than 0, right, the image will be, how I am getting, let me write down this thing later. First of all let me find the images of few numbers f of 1. When I find, it will be modulus of 1 upon 1. Modulus of 1 will be 1, 1 by 1, that is 1. When I find f of 2, it will be modulus 2 upon 2. Modulus 2 means 2 by 2, so again it is 1. So if I find f of 10, it will be modulus of 10 divided by 10, that means again 1, right? So for all positive values, when I am giving all the positive values to the function, all positive real numbers I am giving, image I will always get as 1. So for all x greater than 0, the image will always be 1. Now let us take some negative numbers also. When I am putting f of -1, so it will be modulus of -1 upon -1, because this is -1, so whatever x is there, same x is coming here. So this thing we have to take care of. When I am writing here f of -1 here will come as -1 only. Here we cannot make it positive because modulus is in the numerator. So the modulus will make the numerator term positive. It will become 1 upon -1. So we know 1 upon -1 will give you -1 only. Similarly, when we find here f of -2, what will happen? It will be modulus of -2 upon -2. Modulus of -2 will give you 2, but this -2 will remain as such in the denominator. So again the answer is -1. Modulus of f of -9, so it will be modulus of -9 upon -9. So we are getting 9 by -9, the answer is again -1. It means whenever x is negative, the image will be -1. For all negative real numbers, the image will be -1, and if x is equal to 0, the image will be 0. We can't say that mod 0 upon 0, it is indeterminate form here. So here it will be considered as when I give 0 to this function, signum function, the image will also be 0, right? So here what we are noticing that it is taking every real number, but how many images we are getting? There are only 3 images, 1, 0 and -1. Codomain is all real numbers, but the range is having only 3 elements, -1, 0 and 1. Okay, so let us plot the graph. What kind of graph signum function will have now? So let us take our Cartesian system once again. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3, so on. The line has gone other side, so -1, -2, -3, then 1, 2, 3 and so on. Positive y-axis, negative y-axis, positive x-axis, negative x-axis, and now we know when x is 0, just now we have done when x is 0, what is the image? Image is 0. So here if I mark it as 0, 0, this is the first entry. When x is 0, image is also 0. Now when x is 1, what is the image? 1. When x is 2, image is 1. When x is 3, image is 1 and so on, right? It means for all positive real numbers, for all the positive real numbers, I will put the arrow here. That means it is going till infinity. For all the positive real numbers, what is the image? Image is 1, right? Okay, similarly we will have here -1, -2, -3 and so on. Now when x is -1, the image is -1. When x is -2, image is -2. Image is -1. When x is -3, then also image is -1 and so on. That means for all negative real numbers, the image is always -1. So let us join these points also, and these also will go till -infinity. So let us put the arrow. So this will be the image. So here what is the domain of the function? Domain is all real numbers. But what is the range of the function? It is having only 3 numbers, -1, 0 and 1, right? Sorry, the paper got shifted to the other side. So domain will be all real numbers and range is having 3 numbers only, -1, 0 and 1. So this will be the graph of signum function. Clear? So we have, after this we have one more function in our book, that is the greatest integer function. Okay, and that function, let us understand that also. By after this, the topic will be over, types of the functions. So here let us understand greatest integer function. And when I write down the complete name of this function, it is actually greatest integer function less than or equal to x. How the function is defined? Now a function f defined from R to R by f of x is equals to x. We are writing x within the square bracket. Okay, so for the greatest integer function we are writing the x within square bracket. And how will it work? The name is saying it is the greatest integer function. That means the answer will always be an integer. I will never get the image as any other real number, but the image will always be an integer only. So what we will say, f of x is greatest integer function x, where x belongs to all real numbers. And how we will read it as, we say it assumes, or let me write down. So it is the greatest integer function less than or equal to x. What does it mean when I'm writing greatest integer function less than or equal to x? So whatever x I give here, it can be any real number, it can be integer also, it can be a fraction also. So whenever I give any real number here to this function, first thing, the answer will always be an integer. Second thing, the answer will never be greater than this number. Whatever number you are writing here, it will never be greater than this. It will be either equal to or it will be less than, but the answer will always be an integer. Now how this function works? Let us take few examples to understand that how the function works. So let me write down few examples here. If I have to find f of 2.5, that means it will be greatest integer value of 2.5. Now what is the integer which is less than or equal to this 2.5? That we have to look. We have to look for the integer which is less than or equal to this number. So the integer which is less than or equal to this number is 2 only. I cannot say let us round off this 2.5 and get 3. No, we can't do here. The statement says it is the greatest integer function less than or equal to x. It will never give you value greater than that number. Okay. So further, if I take here f of 1.8, now 1.8 greatest integer value. Now if I say 1.8 is close to 2, why can't it give 2? No, once again the definition is greatest integer function less than or equal to x. So the answer of greatest integer value of 1.8 less than or equal to x, it will be 1. Okay, so this is how we will do the or we will use this function. And in general, if I have to say how does it work, we will write down, whenever I am getting greatest integer function x plus h, it will give me only x. What does it mean? When I am writing here 2.5, this will be the integral part, this is the integral part, and this will be the small increment. So when I am writing 2.5, actually it is 2 plus 0.5 है ना. This is integral part and this is the fractional part. So the answer will be this integer, right? Answer is x. Whenever I have x plus h form, the answer will be x only. So 2.5, if I can write it as 2 plus 0.5, the answer will be 2. Similarly, if I have here greatest integer value of x minus h, then what will happen? Now let us take the example, greatest integer value 0.8. How can I write it? 0.8. I think we can say here 1 minus 0.2. If I write down 0.8 as 1 minus 0.2, then what will happen? It will give me the value x minus 1. That means 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. Right? So 0.8 here also. Okay, 1.8 I have done. So 0.8 greatest integer value will be 0 only. How does it work? X minus h, whenever I have, it will give me integer x minus 1. If this is the integral part, this is the fraction part. X is the integral part, h is the fraction part. So here when it is x minus h, it will give me one integer less than x. When it is x plus h, it will give me x as such. So this is the functioning of or usage of greatest integer function, right? So the remaining part we will discuss in the next class. Thank you, students.